Hey, what's crackin' peeps? I'm glad to see you back, and today what I have for you guys is episode 5 of our map making series, and you're probably like, whoa, Octavigon, you haven't recorded in literally 3 months, what's up? Well, basically, the last MCParty map pretty much got corrupted. I'm not able to get a world save back, so I'm kinda throwing that map away, and I really wasn't planning on continuing the map making series until two individuals came up to me and kinda proposed to start the series back. You guys want to show yourselves?
Hello. Oh boy. What's up?
Well, yeah. So basically, Pikmin and Tony were just like, hey, we want to remake this map. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing for this series for now on out. So this time around, I really want to utilize the resource packs much more efficiently. So what I've done is I've retextured 5 wool colors, and basically these are what the board game pieces are going to look like. Now it's much smaller than last time, but like what I said, much more efficient. So yeah, basically this is just blue wool. I made a custom texture and I messed around with the block modeling a little bit, and this is what we have. So this is one block that creates almost this 3 wide space, as you can see here. It's just about 3. And the reason why I did it like this was basically so it allows us to put different materials down for the background. So I could have like andesite there, or I could have stained clay down here. You also can't see them from the bottom. But yeah, I could just have different blocks in the back, and yeah, that's pretty much what we have. We have our blue space, our red space, our like mystery space or something bad's going to happen, our antagonist who is Herobrine, and then our protagonist who is the Iron Golem. And when you land on him, he'll actually do whatever he wants to benefit you in some way.
All right, so we decided to go with the Mario Party 8 style theme, in which they do sort of a carnival type theme. So we're putting circus tents in each corner based on whichever color it is. So red, we're going to have our main party tent for party mode, if you're familiar with Mario Party and the way it works. In the blue corner, we have our minigame mode. In the green corner, we have our customizable player piece mode, which we'll explain at a later date. And then we have our credits, which will include ourselves as well as beta testers, stuff like that.
Alright, and now I'm going to go ahead and get Purple to explain a lot of the theory behind the redstone that we're going to be using in this map.
All right. So before I actually go over how some of this redstone works, I kind of want to explain the concept behind redstone and spawn chunks. So as you can kind of see by this large selectional region, these are the spawn chunks of Minecraft. Actually, these are a incorrect placement of spawn chunks. The spawn chunks in Minecraft is 16 by 16. These are 15 by 15. This is, of course, just a little error that I made, but it should not affect anything because we are still from the region. Now, the one thing about spawn chunks and redstone is that redstone is ideally to be placed in the spawn chunks because that is less CPU management that goes to the client and goes to the server. Now, most people tend to throw their redstone on 20-tick clocks, and which is kind of what we're doing right here. So usually people have multiple 20-tick clocks, but in this case, we are only going to be using one 20-tick clock. And I'm going to kind of explain what this very interesting little thing over here is doing. So a good way to reduce stress on computers and CPUs is by basically taking the time it takes for a clock by half. So what you're seeing here is a 20 ticks per second clock, and we are reducing that to 10 ticks per second with this comparator. And by doing that, it is now essentially a 10 ticks per second clock that is being used on all of this over here. So our initial thought process with this is that we have particular parts of the map that can be toggled on and off for basically stress testing and for error testing. The way we go about doing that is by using custom game rules. So for example, if I use game rule spawn logic 0, you will see that we actually have a method for turning off the spawn logic here, and switching that back to 1 turns it on. And that's going to be the general idea, is that we want to have everything toggleable for stress testing. right now there isn't a whole lot of nitty gritty redstone that goes into this, but this general idea is that we can set up a bunch of different fill clocks with this initial fill clock around the world without putting too much stress on the client.
So last time around, I know you guys really did enjoy the time lapses, so that's what we're going to go ahead and do. We're going to start by making a circus tent right here for the party area. I'll probably just build it out here, and I have a general idea in my head. Let's just see how it looks in person. Alright, so this is now what we have as our finished product, and what I've also done is I've went ahead and cloned it in all four corners for the most part, and the colors are all changed and everything. I'll show you what it looks like from down here. Purple's over here. But yeah, this is what we have right now. One thing I also want to actually do is change the images that are already on here. I was messing around with it, and you see this is redstone. You can't normally get this in the game. That's just because I retextured it with a texture pack. I probably want to make it to where it'll say like party mode this way, like piece selection or something, minigame mode, credits, stuff like that. But yeah. I was just thinking a little bit, and do we really want to have the same tent multiplied 4 times? Probably not. That seems a bit boring and bland. So what I just went ahead and did was I replaced this tent right here with a couple stalls. Of course I'm going to add on to this later, but this is going to be the piece selections, okay? So the theory behind this at least is you're going to step on this pressure plate, be teleported inside there, and then you'll be able to customize your piece. And I guess I should explain to you guys the concept behind the piece now. So you might have seen this picture on Reddit or maybe Twitter. Me and Purple made it the other day when we were conceptualizing about what the piece selection is going to be. But the basis behind it is basically you're going to be able to choose between any of the entities in Minecraft. So if we just scroll through here, creeper, skeleton, spider, all of these, and probably more, will probably include like armor stands maybe, I don't know. But you'll be able to choose an entity, and then you just right click, scroll left and right, and once you choose the entity that you actually want, you're going to be able to hit the confirm button, and then we're going to make a system which allows every entity in the game to wear a hat. Now I know mobs like Enderman, creepers, they can't technically wear armor, but we're going to make it to where armor stands, like extra armor stands, make it appear as though the mobs are wearing hats and such. And then we'll probably add special effects like particles or maybe a color base. I don't really know. Just see where it goes, and yeah. So it's been a couple hours now, and oh man, is my head hurting. I honestly can't do this any longer, so I'll just show off what I have already. Excuse the mess. It's a bit messy, but all these command blocks will disappear. So basically what we have is we can right click on these right here, and you see it's going to scroll through the entities that we can actually choose, and we can go backwards and scroll through them, and we can even hold down the button, and yeah, so I'll just go through them all for you real quick. I've tried to add as many as possible that I feel suited, and yeah, so this is all that we have. Got a couple more, and yep, then we go back to the creeper. Okay. So let's say, for instance, oh, I want my chicken to be wearing a head, okay? So I hit confirm, and then what I didn't actually implement, this is where I kind of stopped, is you would then, like, where it said entity is then where it would say head, and then you could scroll left and right between which heads that you can wear. But so right now, I just added the feature to where, you see the chicken can wear a head, and And then of course you can kill it, and then let's say I want to put a head on, let's just say the cow, or the mushroom. So we can go ahead, hit that confirm button, those signs would then change, and then, oh, that did not work. Confirm, and there. And yeah, that's pretty much how this system works. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this portion of the redstone. Like what I said, my brain is really starting to hurt, so I'm going to call it quits for this. Alright, so this is going to be pretty much it for this episode. So I was just getting our toes wet in the water, showing you guys how this whole thing is going to work. And yeah, so like always, your guys' feedback is always beneficial. Everything that you guys tell me will not only make the episodes more enjoyable, but will make it more enjoyable for me and more comforting to just be able to know, hey, what I'm doing is actually pleasing the viewers and is actually fun for them to watch. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you enjoyed, go ahead, hit that like button. If you have not already, go ahead and subscribe. Alright, well, peace.